Salutations, kings and queens, and welcome back to the Electric Leaf. I wanted to go live on Instagram, but it's a bit too late, and I don't want the session to go too long. I like to pull cards for people when you all ask me to, so I want to do a short sage wisdom for those of you who were able to receive, and for those of you who aren't on Instagram. And I'm really just following the energies here. And so today when I was in my meditation, I kept on going back to surrender and resistance and surrender, and almost going into this space in my mind where I kept thinking like, well, how is it that the law of attraction can work so well for some people and not so well for others? Well, it comes down to this. You have to know who you are spiritually. Let me put my phone on airplane so that it seems like nobody will call until you start doing something important. But the important thing about when you go into this space of resistance and the law of attraction stops working for you, or it doesn't work for you, it may be happening because you're denying yourself the ability to feel the full spectrum of emotions. It's crazy to say or to think that the law of attraction only works when you're happy. You know that's not true. Just think of all the times you've been upset or hurt or angry, and from that strong, powerful emotion, something manifested, whether you liked it or not, okay? So the main thing that you want to do in order to come out of a stagnant energy flow, or to allow yourself to manifest, is to be real with yourself about your desires. Okay, allow yourself the freedom of experiencing the full spectrum of emotions. So today when I was in my meditation, I kept getting upset because certain things were not manifesting the way that I felt that they should, given the amount of work that I had put in. Okay, I know I put this on airplane mode, but according to the amount of work that I had put in. So I started to get upset. I started to cry. And then I wanted to force myself not to cry because, that's not strength. So then I just finally just let go. And I allowed myself to feel the sadness. I allowed myself to sob. I allowed myself to weep. I allowed myself to be okay with what is and what is not. Okay? I allowed myself to feel everything. I allowed myself to speak the words that I didn't want to hear. And I allowed myself to be okay with not being okay. And then I really literally felt a heaviness break from inside of me, and things started to flow. I was able to accomplish a lot throughout the day. So for some reason, we have it in our mind that anger is a bad emotion, sadness is a bad emotion, fear is a bad emotion. We have it in our minds that anything other than happiness is bad. And it's just not true. When you allow yourself to feel what it is that you need to feel, you are you're granting yourself the ability to to be free. You're granting yourself freedom. One of the main places on this earth that can either be heaven or hell is the seat of the mind. The mind can grant you freedom, or the mind can be your imprisonment. The mind becomes a prison when we tell the mind that our outward circumstances must be a certain way in order for us to be happy or filled with joy or peace. So I want to help you to heal from that tonight, but not by my own accord. I want to be a conduit of the messages from the Most High, and that's going to be that. I'm going to share the messages with you. Now, this Aries season right now, I mean, it is quite a trying type of energy if you are not prepared for it. If you are not ready to stand on your own 2 feet, or if you're dealing with codependency, and a lot of people are dealing with codependency. It's just that they're not identifying it as codependency because they might have a lot of different things outside of themselves that they place value or self-value upon. Sage. Sage. So earlier when I was going live on Instagram, one of the cards that came out was empathy. And as an empath, a lot of emotions have been surfacing. And it's important. I want you to know, if you're out there and you are an empath, or if you're a person who doesn't identify with labels of that nature, you must remember that we are all connected. We are all part of this grid. If you were to look at yourself under a special light or a special camera, you would see that you have an electromagnetic field around you. This is known in the spiritual community as your aura, okay? This is a radiant energy that radiates from you, and it radiates from your heart, and it radiates from your brain, okay? And so there is a heart-brain connection. All right? The heart is a space where so many thoughts are balanced. And so many things have come forward. Relationships have been tested more than usual lately with the Libra full moon and another Libra full moon coming as well. It's almost like do-over, right? Before I get to shuffling too much, I wanted to show that the Lovers had come out also with the empathy card. And I really felt that that was to speak towards the relationships that are being tested. And I want to just bring the message, okay? I read from Ephesians 6:12, and I talked about, or the scripture speaks about how we don't really fight against each other. We're never really fighting against each other. We might be upset with one another because this or that is reflected back and forth through our relationships, but in actuality, we're never fighting against one another. We're fighting against principalities and spirits, spiritual rulers of dark places, okay? And the powers of this world. It's never each other, because we are actually truly one. So thank you, Divine Mother and Father, for allowing your messages to flow. Thank you for allowing me to deliver the messages. I allow myself to be a conduit. Thank you for your messages. Thank you that these messages reach those who it is supposed to reach at the divine and rightful time. Thank you for your messages. It's not this deck. It's not this deck. Thank you, Divine Mother and Father, for allowing me to be a conduit of your message. Thank you that this message will reach all those who is meant to reach at the divine and rightful time. Thank you, Divine Mother and Father. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for your word. Thank you for your messages. There is a beauty to surrendering. There is a beauty to allowing things to be. So I have the Three of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Page of Swords. Thank you, Divine Mother and Father. I see that truth, once again, truth sets you free. There is a certain amount of work that is going to need to be put into self. Things are growing. Things are growing. Please clarify the Three of Pentacles. The Knight of Cups, that is talking about the work of self that must be put in is what's going to allow self to attract the things that your heart desires. It's not just about relationships with lovers or companions, but relationships in general. Things that tickle your fancy, things that remind you that life is worth living. Thank you, Divine Mother and Father, for clarifying the Sun card. Thank you for clarifying the Sun card, Divine Mother and Father. Thank you for clarifying the Sun card, Divine Mother and Father. Okay. So we've got the Four of Wands out and the Page of Pentacles. It's like bringing your home together. The home life is really, really highlighted, and how things are growing. But it's not only that. It's more of like your temple that's being illuminated to me. The self, once again, and how you perceive yourself. And the reason why I say that is because the Page of Pentacles comes out with it. And in the card with the page, there's a peacock. But the peacock's feathers are not in the full-on display. But they're definitely there. The peacock knows it's a peacock. Thank you, Divine Mother and Father, for clarifying the Page of Swords. That's the second time I've seen the Eight of Wands. I feel like the Page of Swords bears some type of truth. Look at that. Look at that. I just said I had just seen this card twice already, the Eight of Wands, when I was looking at this Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is coming with truth, a fast truth. I didn't want this video to go too long, but I'm going to need it to be a part 2. So let me just stop this here, and then we'll go into the part 2, okay? All right, peace.